Hello, so bonjour. So here is a long video actually about polyamory, talking about love and poly, which comes from the ancient Greek polu, like the U being actually the Y, so it gives like what we call in French Y, is like the Greek I, which was the U before. So poly is many. So you can talk about polytheism. You have many gods, goddesses. If you're a man, you like different girls in many different ways, maybe, and you adore them in some ways. They can maybe become somewhat some kind of idols, or taking themselves such as idols, like through the Instagram photos, taking themselves super seriously and everything, and collecting the likes. That's another topic. Poly and amor from the Latin comes amour in French, amour. Okay, so what is love? Amour is this thing that can be maybe divided in two parts again. Polyamour is loving maybe different people, having not only sexual intercourses with them, but also loving them through the feelings. That's why I would talk in amor with two arrows. I write eros. It comes from ancient Greek again. Eros would be the desire, when you like one body to another. It's like erotic, comes from eros. So it's actually like eros, erotic. So eros and agathos, which is the how to relate one to another and having feelings. Actually, agathos is like this connection, and eros would be more body-like. Agathos can be more heart-to-heart connection, maybe mind-to-mind. Anyway, the serotonin, that is the chemical of love, is released in the brain. So when we say it's the heart, actually mostly it's going on in the brain. But so how do you dispatch your different serotonins into different people, or you focus it all in one, up to say he is my everything, she is my everything, but then having this metaphor maybe with this there is only one God. Okay, there is only one husband, there's only one boyfriend, there's only one wife, only one girlfriend, and making him or her becoming maybe through imagination, like Don Quixote did with the Lady of Toboso, or like Candide in the novel of Voltaire did with Cunegonde, like idealizing someone. That can happen. That helps a lot for what we call a romantic relationship, actually. And to fall in love maybe with the imagination you have about someone, rather than the person exactly the way this person is. And with social media, we have a trick, we want it or not, to play with the imagination through this persona. Persona is like a mask, actually. You give as a personality. You can show that mask as a social mask, and that gives an image of you, and you can actually play with that image, and can be sometimes interesting how people have these thoughts about you when actually you know exactly what you're thinking, and they didn't understand you exactly that way. So polyamory, people talk about an ethical non-monogamy. Ethical, like we can talk about the ethics of Spinoza. Non-monogamy means polygamy, actually, like a religion like Islam tried to talk about it in advance, rather than being what I would say the contrary of ethical non-monogamy, can be non-ethical monogamy. It's like you pretend, or you actually have genuine feelings one to another, but you have this need to have this double life, and to chase these other girls, other women, when she's somewhere else, or you have to text that guy, to meet that guy without telling the boyfriend, because you know deep down he would be hurt. So people call it a white lie. It's like the lie for in order not to hurt the other, but it's also actually I would call a big lie we do to ourselves first of all rather than to the other. So a way to avoid that schizophrenia, this split between the you, the id of Freud, who wants everything right now, and this super ego full of principles, with then in case you do wrongs, like wrong deeds, comes into guilt, and the ego, you in the between this id, like this beast that inside you that wants everything right now. I have a boner, I wanna fuck, I'm hungry, I see the chocolate, I want that chocolate, whatever, and without thinking of consequences, versus the principles of being that good man no matter what, being following these principles no matter what, keeping your word and everything, that I found of course very beautiful. Then that would be the split. So a strange part would be to admit maybe your shadow, your own shadow, to quote Carl Jung, and to say, look, I have this dark side, what about you? I guess you have it too. Maybe you just hiding it this whole time. Maybe to please me by love. We go again into this white lie thing. Or also making up the truth. Not saying the truth can be maybe a form of passive lie. But being in transparency all the time can be also annoying. Like instead of Big Brother is watching you, would be your wife is watching you, or your husband is watching you, or just society is watching me and I'm tired of it. So the more they would be watching me, the more I have this fantasy, and this because of the prohibition, like the apple for Adam. Don't eat this apple, don't eat this apple. That's because you tell me don't eat this apple that you're giving me the idea to eat that apple at the first place. So you tell someone who doesn't like coffee, you know she will not like coffee, don't drink that coffee, don't drink that coffee. At some point, wow, enough of him telling me this, I'm gonna drink that coffee. So we want to avoid this split between the personas. That's when we go into polyamory, like what about finally it's not that dark, maybe to just follow one's nature. You can have the most beautiful lady at your side, the most handsome man at your side. There are, we want it or not, different beauties. It often starts with beauty. We relate one to another, we like each other, and then, yeah, but it's not because I like him that I will not like him as well. And it's not because I find her hot that I don't find that one with, like then we can go into the different types of beauties, into also the different type of people mixed in the world, like an Asian is beautiful, a black girl can be beautiful, white girl can be beautiful, like, and even among them there are different morphotypes, like every human beings, and like Native American, it sounds so exotic, but some are super beautiful, and some Middle Eastern are beautiful, really beautiful, like these fantasies of the harem that some sultan had, to have different women and all. That's like also what we have all the time in our eyes, you know, through advertising, or just the auto advertising of the women they do of themselves, or the men. Same with social media like Instagram and all, showing unfortunately sometimes too much with filter, which makes people insecure about themselves when they don't use the filter. Also, instead of encouraging the others to do proper workouts and take care of their health, they would be like, I'm handsome but you are not, please envy me. Or instead of helping the other to just be good looking in some either luck, it's true, sometimes just genetic, or either just proper diet, workout, proper lifestyle, you know, and that creates a panel of different beauties we all accede. And at some point it's like, okay, maybe I want to discover these different beauties. But the same way you can say, I want to discover these different personalities, psyche, from the Greek psyche, Okay, up. Let's go like this. Psyche. So the psyche is the psychology of someone. This introvert, I like him. As an extrovert, I like introvert people a lot because there's something, a balance that is created between us when we talk. And I relate a lot as could be introvert and I can be still introvert, depends on situations, I guess. Don't like to be in only one category, it's stupid. And you can relate a lot to a girl as a man. I relate a lot to when my girl is like in the bar with me, but cannot say hi to everyone that easily, hangs out a bit on the sides, and I want to care and to see how she's doing. Cannot just roam around talking to everyone, not caring. No, she's it's a normal thing, I think. So you want to discover different personalities, maybe also as much as different product. Like, it sounds sad to say like this, but you want to try maybe the vanilla ice cream. It's not because the vanilla ice cream is so amazing that you don't want to try. Sometimes the lemon ice cream, the strawberry ice cream, the chocolate ice cream, the pistachio ice cream, I love that one, and so on, so there are diversification in beauty that makes the world full of abundance, and this is abundance that makes maybe the world interesting into the food also, so you can like this food that much. And maybe it's a human nature thing to at some point be a bit less excited about that food and to want to try some other food. It's terrible to compare like people with food. I am very aware of that. So that's the roadmap we're going through. Then best reasons. I think I'm talking some reasons already. So it's like a discovery thing, but also I think for me that would be one of the main cons about this is the possibility. That's too important to me, because when you love somebody, you wish her happiness or his happiness as much as you wish yourself your own happiness, So if there is 1% chance you can hurt so much this person, it can break your heart to break the heart of the other. Then do you need to do all your life according to one's feelings? Normally that's your life, not her life or his life. So if that's really something you want to do, you at some point need to go through the stage where you need to accept to be that asshole for a moment, and or that so-called bitch, and to go still do your life, even if it takes empathy for the one you're breaking up with and everything. But most of the time we see the things in duality between being single, switching to being in couple, and then with this hashtag relationship goals, and which can be very beautiful, specifically when it's real. The problem is you cannot know when it's real with this makeup you can put through social media. But if it is, I'm not a fan of religions, but I like to take values religiously. And actually, if people being religious, that makes them in a practical way being so faithful one to another, and I find it beautiful when they go young to the church together on the Sunday morning, even if I'm a Christianized guy, but I'm not Christian at all. So, but I think I can find it beautiful for sure. But it's like also when everything is enough complicated in our life, we want things to be more we want a stabilized society, a stabilized routine, and we just want to rely on someone no matter what. There's no if something is wrong, if something is wrong. Polyamory doesn't need to go into orgy. I'm not interested at all about that, and I haven't practiced polyamory actually, even if through my travels, of course I got different feelings from different girls, especially in New Delhi. where I could get very good feelings for an Indian girl as much as to a Colombian girl and a Moroccan girl. I really got affection so much for, and then once I need to leave the place after a few months, I wish them, of course, a beautiful life, freedom, to talk to me anytime they feel not good or something. They can keep in touch. And if life is now I have the boyfriend, like for them, and we cannot talk to you anymore, or now I have the girlfriend, I cannot talk to them anymore. I don't know if this is a real love, but that's another situation. If you need to focus all your love into almost wishing the other to neglect all her past, his past, and be like, I want so much to be your everything. I don't understand why I'm not becoming your everything. Yes, you are so much to me, but at the same way, you want to accept all sides of the other, and that's non-monogamy, which goes into polyamory, can go also into different things like calling polygamy. So gamy is gamos in Greek, it's the partner. So polygyny, so polygamy, I write it here again, polygamu, then polygamy, polygamy, yeah, so would be actually the fact of having different partners. But then, most of the time when we think of this, we think of not polygamy exactly, but polygyny. So polygyny. So polygyny would be genos, women, the fact of having different women. But actually, there are situations of, for me, it's fair enough, maybe it's a theory thing again. If the girl, of course, brush her teeth before meeting me, but like polyandry, so polyandru, and still, it's like you can say it in theory, how open-minded you are. Once it happens in practice, something very different is going on, and then you're like, wait, no, maybe I'm just bullshitting myself and just going against my own nature, because jealousy is also a part of human nature as much as love, and also focus. It can be a beautiful thing if you focus your love into one thing, like one passion, one job, one person. Maybe it brings you stability in your mind, because you need to expect an emotional roller coaster sometimes, unless maybe you manage to be that friend with the other guys who may give an orgasm to the one you love. Maybe it's again a big maybe actually, and that's as long, because there is also what I call the reindeer's fights, it's like territorial animals fighting each other for the female, like you can watch in so many documentaries about animals, which is something that makes so much sense as well. So the polyandry would be to have 4 women, different men, and actually there are tribes in Amazonia and in Cuba actually back in the time, before all this ethnocide and genocide, and also in Ali, in the west of Tibet, not far from Xinjiang, there are tribes where the women have 1 or 2 husbands who seem to be very okay about that. And of course, I don't need to explain to you that there can be, in many cases, men having different women, but at least the good thing with that is that they know each other. I met an Egyptian, half Filipina, half Egyptian girl in Cairo, who was she was the daughter of the second wife of her father, and her mother was friend with the mom, with the first wife, I mean, of the husband. In Cairo, they were living together, the 2 first wives, and the husband, her father, was in Saudi Arabia with the third wife, switching between Cairo and Saudi Arabia, bringing resources, because it's a lot about bringing resources and caring about the family. Maybe there's something less hypocritical than cheating by behind, pretending to be so faithful, and actually even worse if money is involved, spending money on the mistress as much as the wife, or even more for the mistress and maybe her children than your wife and your own children, and so on. That can be a terrible thing, to pretend that much to be a good, responsible dad, having so much on your shoulders, you carrying, and then having to do that as a double standard. Maybe it's less hypocrite, maybe, but as I said, if some people just stick to their values and principles with a strong superego, and not an ego in the negative way, this time would be in the beautiful way, with a good, strong moral narcissism, then maybe there is something valuable in it. So there is what people call open relationship. I think can work for short term, maybe not on long term, but if on long terms, because there will be a hard thing to follow, constellation in the genealogical tree, in the biological perspective, it's gonna be hard actually in the Darwinian terms, maybe to just see who is the fittest to give the sperm into the vagina to make the right baby carrying the right DNA code, and then following this genealogical tree in the most stable way. Good luck to make a good genealogical tree, even if you may say, yeah, but that's society, the way it's been imposed to us all the time. Still, good luck to track how the family is going. But that's actually the case. That's the case for some. And for me, personally, consentment is everything. As long as everybody is okay, I won't say almost everything is possible. But then you need to be sure. Are you having these ideas to force yourself to be open-minded, or because you really want to try it? Or also, are you having these ideas, or these ideas are having you, like from the society, from everything your family, everything you witnessed, from your past experiences? Are you feeling that these ideas you think are right or wrong are yours that much or not? I want to talk shortly about Pierre Bourdieu, a sociologist from the 60s, who talked about 60s, 70s, and 80s actually. He talked about social reproduction, but that's one thing. But he talked about holism. Holism, which would be how society is influencing individuals rather than individuals influencing society. By any way, a society, you cannot shake the hand of a society, you can shake the hand of an individual. But individuals are making the society for sure. But the same way that in your thoughts processes, societies and the geographical plus the timeline, this geographical space you are occupying, plus the timeline, plus your peers, are, of course, you want it or not, influencing you. So that can be another thing to think about when it comes to polyamory. So make it clear. Pros: exotic discoveries, the feeling of something new all the time, but still by keeping something from the relationship you care. Like, you just cannot say goodbye to that person, too important to you. Con would be potentially mind games. If you show, because you can show you happy to the other, and deep down you're hurting this person. I can talk about one example. Simone de Beauvoir with Jean-Paul Sartre. So they were two existentialist philosophers from the 70s, 80s. and they were, how to say, they tried what we call in French ménage à trois. So they lived in the same house with one of their students, a woman, and everything was going very well for sure for start. We got a lot of fun around and everything. But deep down, actually, in her writings, Simone de Beauvoir, who wrote The Second Sex, a feminist book, she also could say that she could get hurt time to time, you know, specifically when it comes about also attention, caring about the other, showing the gratitude, like what the others already brought to you, and you just show yourself like, no, it's taken granted, I don't owe you anything, when you actually most of the time realize the value of someone when you're about to lose her or him, until it's too late, and until by, not even by pride, by reasonable pride, I would say, this other person, your future ex, with the ex, just doesn't want to talk to you anymore and would just completely ignore you, and silence is a huge answer. So if you reach a situation like this, basically called drama, but drama are like very legitimate, you're not that much into you're not that much done for polyamory. Maybe polyamory can be something good if you manage to turn drama free in relationship. How to switch to polyamory? It's hard to go from being single to suddenly polyamory. Maybe if you're lucky, if everything is fine, you know, and you realize friendship has a huge role to play between the girls or between the guys, without them to have to be in the bed all sharing at the same time. But if there is no friendliness, if there is an ego, a spirit of jealousy, of competition, it's gonna create for the others these insecurities, the feeling that they are not enough to make someone happy. And this feeling, if you create these feelings for someone just in the sake of your own pleasures, you can be quite selfish also. There is a lot to consider. That's why if you want to simplify everything in a life that is already enough complicated, maybe as an atheist I say that maybe some religious people are right, from the Judeo-Christianism about monogamy, or maybe another thing, but with the fear to be judged. I hate to say oh maybe because I'm just showing clearly I'm not that certain about this answer. I have to share a bit of my own confusion. Maybe just allowing nature to happen without calling it bad or dark or whatever. It's just nature. You allow it to happen, and you call sex something positive rather than something negative, being seen negative by religions of the past. The priest who is condemning himself in the Catholic religion just to prove his spirituality. Like the more you torture yourself, the more you're spiritual, instead of the more you live life, the more you're spiritual. Maybe just following nature, because if nature creates this in you, maybe it's good. But if you desire for desiring, maybe you're gonna end up again in the logic of competition, trying to be the best, and you want the others to remember you as one of the best, when they can just remember you maybe as someone dirty, someone just confusing, someone full of ego. So another important thing is that no matter what you say or no matter what you do, you will never control all the thoughts people can have about you. So you need to let people imagine who you are, even if you're trying to show all the sides of yourself, both sides of the coin. It's still not gonna be easy. But in this wheel of stability, marriage wanted to make you promise in front of a transcendence like God. I like the idea of transcendence, but even if I don't believe in God as a person specifically, like with a personality or something, but if that makes people better, I like people to be good no matter what. But the idea of swearing to be faithful no matter what until death has something absolute and beautiful in it. Problem is, life changes, everything is evolving. So what happened few months later, few years later, and everything, it's gonna be a lot of self-control. But to finish, I wanna quote Albert Camus, the philosopher, but not Albert Camus exactly. I wanna quote his father, what he told him. Albert Camus was this existentialist philosopher of the 70s, like more like maybe not the 50s, 60s, beginning of 70s. He said, a man that stops himself, he can stop himself. Like un homme, ça s'empêche. It's like, it's just preventing himself from doing something if it's something wrong, no matter what. If he's a real man, if you want to say a real woman, someone valuable, can stop herself to do something just wrong. If you feel there is something wrong, you still want to do it, and you feel it's still more beautiful to stop yourself doing this something that you feel is wrong, you need to be able to stop yourself from doing that. That would be a good conclusion.